What's up YouTube? So today I'm going to be doing a video on the Pro R. I'm going to be washing it, doing like a walk around of it, what we have done to it, showing you, why it's so different from everything else that's out there right now. It's relatively new. It came out, I want to say December or January. It's brand new 2022 model. Obviously it looks a little bit different than what you would see a stock one looking like. So yeah, and then I'm going to be throwing in a couple clips of it as well, just to kind of show you that it rips. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so here's the Pro R. I'm gonna kind of start from the front and work to the back and try and cover everything that we have on it. So starting off in the front, we have the dynamic suspension. It's all electronical. It controls your high speed and low speed compression, and on your rebound, it will adjust that up to 1,000 times per second. We have 35-inch BF Goodrich tires on it, but they come with 32-inch Coyote tires. And then we have those wrapped around some method bead locks. So 35s for us are more convenient because sometimes we do some sections in our trails that have some pretty big rocks and stuff like that. So it helps with ground clearance. We've never bottomed this out yet, and we've been over some pretty crazy stuff. But we do mostly desert trail riding, so it's kind of what we have it set up for. But yeah, so going around to the front, more up towards the roll cage, we have some Baja Designs Squadron Pros. I think those are 3500 lumen. They're super bright. And then our roll cage is aftermarket. Obviously it's by Potterbuilt. Brandon Potter designed this cage. It's his own business. It's 120 wall. It's super sturdy, and it also looks pretty badass. And then we have a windshield on it. It's real glass. The plastic ones tend to scratch up a lot, and then you can't see out of them after a few rides, and it's pretty miserable. But when you have a windshield and you're riding in the desert, towards when the sun's going down, it gets really cold with the wind and everything. And then having that really helps with keeping the cab warm, even though it doesn't look like it. And then we have it wrapped. I can't remember the exact color, but it's kind of like a metallic green, which doesn't really show scratches that much. So we thought that wrapping it a bright, vibrant color would kind of separate the black a little bit and make it pop, which it did. Not everyone's a fan of it, but me and my dad are. We think it's pretty cool. Okay, so coming around to the side of the vehicle, we have some SDR full metal doors on here. These don't come stock with full doors. A lot of side-by-sides will come stock with half plastic doors, which kind of suck, and they look cheap, and they also are a little bit more dangerous. You can get some debris that comes up in the cab through the bottom, and rocks hitting your leg and stuff like that. It's not fun. And then coming around to the back, the motor is obviously, it looks huge. It's not 1000 cc's. It's the 2225 horsepower 2-liter 4-cylinder, which has never been into a side-by-side. I mentioned that briefly before. But yeah, these come stock with 225 horsepower. So for what we do, it's plenty. Maybe we'll tune it, get it up to 235, 240. But right now we're pretty happy with it. But if you're a sand guy, there's a couple people that have made some turbo kits for this car, and they've gotten, I think, close to 300 horsepower out of it, no problem. And for the sand, you're gonna want more power because it'll rob you, which we're not big sand people. We go to Oregon, Coos Bay once a year, and that's about it. And then, so the suspension obviously looks huge. It's, you know, the Fox 3.0. It's all the electronical stuff. It's insane. And then in the back, we don't really normally go for stock like Polaris components, but we kind of like the look of the cargo box and then the ice chest that finish off the back end, because the back end of these cars are a little funky to some people, but it's kind of growing on me. But yeah, it just kind of finishes off the back end with like a more fastback type of look. It's pretty cool. But yeah, if I just take a step back, you can see how wide it is. I think it's we're up to 84 inches wide in the back, and with paddles it's even bigger. And then coming around to the side, we have you know, same thing, just looks like a beast. And then I'm gonna cut and show you guys the inside of the car, but I'll take another step back so you can see the whole thing. Okay, so before we get to the inside, I forgot to mention, we have full factory UTV skid plates for the side right there, and then on the bottom, the whole undercarriage of the car is completely covered by a factory UTV skid plate. They hooked us up with it. It's so far we haven't bottomed it out, but I'm sure when we do, there'll be a little bit of a scuff mark, but nothing much, because they're absolutely crazy when it comes to you know, taking care of that type of stuff. But moving to the inside, we have some SDR door bags. These they don't look like much, but they're pretty handy because there's not a lot of storage in these things. So if you take your phone and, you know, some snacks or whatever, you can put it all in there and not have to worry about losing it. And I don't know if the inside of them isn't that big, so they have you know, little pads right here that you can rest your knee on. It doesn't get banged up and stuff by the inside of the door. Okay, so yeah, these come with 6-point harnesses, and normally me and my dad, on all the vehicles that we've had, we've always changed it out for Dragonfire or maybe Simpson harnesses, because the stock seatbelt / harnesses that these things come with are very bad, and they won't do their job if you actually get into a roll. We've seen them fail before. It's not ideal for if you roll your vehicle, but yeah, so they work really well when you're taking a lot of, you know, impact and stuff from bumps and all that type of stuff. You don't actually bounce around a lot. Part of that because of the suspension, and then mostly because these harnesses actually do their job and hold you in place. And then moving more into the inside of it, obviously you can see the hoses right there, and that's part of the PCI radio. It's a pumper system is what it's called, and basically it'll pump fresh air into your helmet while you're riding. If it gets hot or you know, all the dust getting inside your helmet, it's not fun. So this will just basically clean out your helmet with fresh air. And then, you know, the fire extinguisher, that's a must if you're riding with these things, just in case, you know, the worst could happen if it caught on fire. You want to be able to get to that quickly. So there's that back there. Okay, so we have a Polaris Ride Command in ours. It's our GPS system, but you can also control music. You can see all your gauges and stuff like that, control all your suspension modes through that. It's pretty cool. It gets us, you know, to where we're going and back from where we're going. We've never really had a problem with it at all. These things are really solid. You can see your backup camera, and if you wanted to put a rock camera in the front, you could see that too through that. If you had GoPros, you can connect them to that, and you can see the GoPro video from your Ride Command, which is pretty sweet. And then on the bottom of the Ride Command, we have our PCI race radio. We've had PCI and rugged. We just personally like PCI better. We had a problem with our last rugged radio in terms of hearing other people hearing us, and me and my dad hearing other people. So we switched to PCI, and it's crystal clear. Which is pretty cool. Those red buttons are push-to-talk buttons. So the one for the passenger is right here, and then the one for the driver is right there, so we can communicate with other people. And we also have the intercom in the inside, so we take these cords and we plug them into our helmet, and me and my dad can talk to each other while we're going at high speeds or whatever, when it's super loud with our helmet on and stuff. Like we're just standing outside having a normal conversation. Is pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty much the inside of the car. There's a lot more room in this one than all the other side-by-sides, just because it's that much bigger. This is almost the same size as a Can-Am X3 Max with a 4-seater. Not quite, I think it's 2 feet smaller, but it's still a lot bigger than a normal 2-seater. Okay, so I'm sitting in it. I'm gonna kind of give you guys like a POV of from inside the driver's seat. So the steering wheel has buttons on it, which is crazy because normally you just get a little plastic dinky steering wheel that comes with all the older side-by-sides. So yeah, you have your volume right here for your radio, pause, play. This is like pushing like for the home screen on the ride command. This is to lock out your suspension. So if you think you're gonna bottom out really hard, or if you go over an unexpected jump, you can hit that and it'll just instantly lock out your suspension. And then these, I'm pretty sure, are for navigating through the different things on the ride command. Yeah, so this is for changing your modes on suspension. So you have rock, Baja, race, and comfort. All of those are pretty solid. Can't go wrong with any of them. Just depends what type of riding you're doing at the moment. So right now, all of our rocker switches. So we don't have a light bar on the bumper yet, but that's coming soon. So that's what that's going to be for. We have our pumper systems rocker switch. This is our radio rocker switch. And then we have, so these things, they're called lighted whips. It's like a LED flag. And that's for basically riding at night, mostly for sand. I think it's required to ride in sand at night anyways, to have those lighted whips so people can see you. They're pretty cool. We'll get definitely some night footage from when we go to Oregon and kind of show you guys how bright they are and what they look like. And then this is for our pod lights I talked about, the Squadron Pros by Baja Designs. And then yeah, so this is ride command. Basically this is all of the Orangevale, Citrus Heights. You can see everywhere from Cameron Park and El Dorado Hills through, you know, downtown Sacramento. It's pretty cool. It's all touchscreen, so you can move it around, all that. It's super responsive. It's not like laggy or anything. And then you can, you know, zoom in and out with that button, so it'll go even farther. This is all the way up to Yuba City. Your miles per hour is right up there. Your gear is right there. You have a full like FM AM radio because there's an antenna. You can't really see it, but it's right there. You'll see it in the clip before this. So yeah, that's basically the whole inside of the car. You get your, you know, your average shifter, nothing special about that. And then yeah, that's just kind of a POV. The gauges are pretty sweet. You'll find yourself going super fast in this thing and you won't know it because it doesn't feel like it when you're going that fast. So like going through a wash or whatever that you would normally go, you know, about 30-40 miles an hour, you're hauling ass through it like 60, maybe 65. Just the suspension on it is so crazy. I did that myself, and my dad had to kind of look over at me and say, slow down, I don't want to roll my brand new car. But it handles it really well. It's a badass car. You can't really go wrong with it. Over here, just real quick, your headlights, 4-wheel, 2-wheel drive, and then this right here is for your modes. So you know this is your throttle, I think. Yeah, so this is you can change your throttle. I forgot to mention that. So you can't really see it, but I can zoom in. So this is race mode for the throttle, so it makes it super responsive, super touchy. And right below it in the middle, it's rock mode, so it'll make your throttle response really sluggish, so when you're crawling over a rock you're not super jumpy. And then right below it, I'll put that up so you can see it, it's sport mode. So a little bit less touchy than race mode, but still just enough when you're just cruising down a dirt road, just, you know, cruising about 55, 60, nothing special. It's pretty cool though. So yeah, that was basically the POV of the new Polaris RZR Pro R.